That's what we did other times too. We just hit.
Yeah.
It's just like information.
Yeah. Perfect. Then you can just get through that part. Go ahead.
I'm Don Wright, the Vice Chair of the Oregon City Library Board, calling the meeting to order. We do not have a quorum today, but we can meet and talk about informational things, but we'll take care of the information part of the meeting. Minutes.
Well, maybe we can't do that.
We can't
Can't do the
decide them,
minutes.
so we'll
That's
just
right.
go forward with
All right,
those
so
until
everybody
the next
take a look at
month.
that and on your own. Library Director Report, I guess.
Public
Public
comments.
comments. I'm sorry. Here we are.
Any public comments? Okay.
Library Director's Report.
Was that pulling up for you guys?
Eventually, here we go.
Great. Okay, so our in what was last month? October was actually we changed the trend, and we were up on both circulation and foot traffic, which was very interesting. So as compared to this time last year. So the good thing about that is not only is it a little bit more than this time last year, but we're still keeping at that like 80% of what we did up on top of the hill, which is an awful lot of traffic. And just to kind of compare numbers, I was at the Holgate branch of the Multnomah County Library today, which looked smaller than 13,000 square feet to me, but that's what she said she thought it was. I think she's wrong, but anyway. It's a very busy branch, and she said that they do about 35,000 circulation items a month, and we do like over 40 regularly. So, I mean, I think we really, really are quite busy. So we did, I don't know if you guys heard, but we received the LSTA grant that we applied for.
That's great.
That is over $22,000 for the purpose of digitizing some of the historic.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Sue did a lot of that work. Karen was really helpful and also will be helpful in implementing it. And we was really pleased that it came through. And we also heard that they would like to potentially use that as a model for other cities to like
Yeah.
go
Thank you.
forward
Great.
and do the same thing in their own communities, because it's just a really good idea. And we're just kind of we end up being kind of the middleman between LSTA, the funding agency, and the University of Oregon, which is already set up to do this.
Oh, they're going to do
Yeah, they're going to do everything. So, so it's pretty easy, and they've been doing it for a while. So
And then it'll be accessible
online, digitally,
online,
searchable,
digitally. Okay.
everything. Yeah, it'll be really cool.
So there's some libraries already, or some newspapers already
Yes.
around the state.
Yeah. And we have like postcards that we have at the library to tell people about that. And, you can find a lot online already, but just not some of these smaller ones. They kind of hit the big ones.
And is it searchable?
Yeah.
When you digitize it? It becomes
Yeah, once
keyword?
it's,
okay.
yep.
I've never played around with it. That's cool.
Yeah. It would be fun just to go do an experiment and look for something,
Sure, okay.
Look for how many times the name Ingham has come up all those years or something. No, I mean, really, it's like that's a good way to,
I can just see people use it for searching their houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be a great thing to do. Research your house. So, and then we had our first film of the film series, King Corn, and that seemed to go pretty well. I mean, there are things that we want to tweak for next time, but Claire was there. And what did you think?
Suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was great, except I had hoped that the facilitator afterwards would have some more knowledge, and she really, wasn't.
Yeah,
in
and-
that field wasn't.
Right, and the facilitators that we have are really there to facilitate conversation between the other attendees. They're not really going to be experts.
So then the conversation, unless it's just everyone saying their opinion, but this time Doug Neely, fortunately, had some good, solid scientific information.
Yeah, and that
which
was-
very interesting. But if
right.
he hadn't been there, other people had a few interesting facts. But anyway, I sort of had hoped that there'd be someone who really knew something about it. That drew
Yeah.
me to it.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting to have somebody there with a lot of knowledge, but I think there's a real danger of it turning into a lecture, and that's just not the point of this series. It's really more about just getting people together to have an opportunity to talk and enjoy something on a Friday, and so. But I mean, noted, and
Yeah, for me personally, I find it less interesting.
yeah, got it. But there was like not a big problem, but a little problem with noise during the conversation time, and it was not perfect, but we can work on some of those things. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, we were sort of shocked. Where did all that food and alcoholic drinks even come from? Who paid for that?
The community center.
Really? Wow.
Yep. They actually, Kathy is
we were eating
Kathy is
boozed and everything.
kind of a wizard in like having free things and inexpensive things and things stashed, and yeah, so that was kind of her part of.
It's pretty classy, and
Well,
you didn't need anything.
Why?
but
Why? Thank
We
you.
were sure surprised.
Well, we wanted to make sure that like 6:30 on a Friday night. It's kind of like right at dinner hour, so we want to be sure to have at least some kind of snacks there, and I know by Friday night I'm ready for a glass of wine, and we didn't think people would abuse it or anything, and they didn't, so, and we had other drinks too, so it wasn't
Oh,
like,
No, it was more than you would have had to have, I think. The popcorn,
It actually, it
candy
was more
bars,
than, and we,
so
that's the
much.
thing, gauging the crowd.
We're gonna make a date night next time. I know.
There you
We got a
go.
babysitter.
Yeah,
Or the babysitter if you guys are
Yeah,
doing
there
that.
you go. Yeah, I mean, so, next time maybe we won't have quite so much, but it's hard to know, so.
What's the next film?
The next film is on December the 7th, and it is A Man Named Pearl. And it is about a black man in the South who is told that he can't live in a certain neighborhood because he won't take care of his yard, and he takes that as a challenge, and he becomes this expert topiary creator.
Cool.
Amazing topiaries. And so conversationally, who we have coming is somebody from Clackamas Community College who is gardening person? Horticulture, yes, thank you. From the horticulture department. So she will have some knowledge about that aspect, but it's not really as much of a controversial topic as like where your food comes from. It's more of an uplifting, enjoyable film. Because when you see what he does, he's amazing. And some of the interviews are just so really, really touching and fun to watch. So it's that kind of thing we decided to do for Christmas, for the holidays.
It's good to have a question like, how many in the audience, are there unique people around here who have done similar things, or have you known about? Might be interesting.
That might be a way to start capturing like expert topic, people who are experts on topics who might be interested in doing kind of talks kind of thing.
Yeah. But I was thinking, like I know of some garden that was just sort of strange and unbelievable in Redland. Some person with these rocks creating this massive thing you would think an average person would never do, and people would come look at it. There could be other places like that around here.
Oh, there's some place like that in Redland?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's been sold to some young people that are friends of mine, and they're changing some, but yeah, it's just like, gosh, I never knew about it. It used to be written up in the newspaper and that sort of thing.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
I
there
didn't
could be
know about
other
that.
things around like that.
Yeah, probably so. Well, this gal from the horticulture department, she may know of
Yeah.
lots of places. So, and then this week, of course, is Pauline Peterson, and we have about 16 people signed up for the poetry workshop, which will be at the Pioneer Community Center again. I'm determined to use that building as much as possible.
Have the media been alerted to this?
The media? Oh, yeah.
In case they want to be enrolled?
I think it was in the
cameras?
newspaper. I think I already saw it.
We send out press releases to the media
I don't know
for
if
every single event.
A poetress up in front of somebody is worthy of TV cameras, but it's something.
Yeah. Kind of. She gets around so much that I'm not
No.
sure that.
Okay, not you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, she's kind of diluted her thing, right? But she's fantastic, and she's on here Thursday night too. And then Friday, I will be all day in Salem at another standards meeting. We continue to work on that, and it's not easy, let me tell you, especially thinking about space. And yeah, it's tough. So anyway, so there's a listing of all the programs. You've got your statistics that I sent you.
I have a question on statistics. Are you into that now, or
Yep.
reference information is like nothing there?
Yeah, we'll be doing that, like next month or something? We do it just quarterly.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, never mind.
We figure that's as accurate as
Yeah.
anything we can do. So, okay. So the next thing I did, and I don't have a copy of this anymore. I gave my copy away. Yeah.
Collection development?
No, the narrative about the survey.
Oh, I have it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of remember what I wrote.
Very much.
So Dawn and I got together and talked about this, and then we decided I would just put together a one-page survey or kind of summary. And basically, what I tried to do here was just say that. So we got these answers, but they were all kind of like a certain age group, and that leaves all these other age groups that we see coming into the library kind of hanging out there without a bunch of these questions answered. And so I just tried to like write down what I thought the reasonable questions would be that we would ask of them. And I don't think we can get quite as detailed if we're just going to do some focus groups, you know. I don't know. But I think we can hit like some of these groups, like at the high school. Jenny and Peter are going to be going up to the high school. They can ask some of these questions of high school students. They have We Night. They can ask some We Night kids. I can ask some Storytime parents. You know, so I can start collecting some of that information, but I just really think that we need it before we start drawing conclusions about what Oregon City thinks they want in a library. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's all that was about. Go ahead.
Has there ever been any thought in possibly hiring someone to do a
Do
full?
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I could look into that too. They're pretty expensive.
I know they are.
Yeah.
But in lieu of it being in preparation for
Mhm.
actual building planning, do you know, this is a lot of work. This is great preliminary work, but I just, do you know, it is expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably talking like what, $20,000-$30,000. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that you don't know is like, you know, would you end up with like something wildly different than what you think you're going to end up with right now? I mean, that's
don't know.
the great unknown.
Yeah.
And it might very well be worth it. So, I mean, why don't we think about that for a little while, and I can still start collecting information. And I could also maybe contact somebody and get a price.
Have other libraries done that? Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
before a new build.
You know, people kind of do this mix of like the consultant thing. You know what I mean? It's like you can get consultants for so many things. I like your hat.
The lights bother me.
Oh,
Today I remember
good
to
idea.
bring it.
You know, there's so many things they can advise you on that, you know, it just seems like some of it just should be taken up by staff
Right.
when you can. But that, you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. So, I mean, not that you're not paying me well. I'm just not an expert in this area.
Right.
Is all. You know, so.
It's also how to interpret the results too. I think that's the big piece is that, you know, we didn't, you know, knowing what to look for. It's hard. It's a lot. It's a lot to factor
Well,
in.
it's all based on, you know, how did you ask the question? You know, where did you promote it at? I
Right.
mean, there, you know. But of course, Don has some experience in that too.
Oh, a little bit, but
little.
you know, I didn't. I never made up the statistical models that we used. You know, we just
Yeah.
we plugged all the stuff into these things, and
Right.
the weather forecast came out over there, and it was very nice. But I didn't ever write the algorithms to look
Yeah.
at the stuff. So I know they're out there.
So the next thing is the collection development policy, and so every year I answer some questions to the Library District Advisory Council, and because they want to make sure that we are spending district money in a way that pursues the goals of the standards and everything, right? And one of the questions every year is, do you have a strategic plan and do you have a collection development policy? And it's like, yes. And our strategic plan is old, and our collection development policy is even older. So what we did was we gathered a collection of collection development policies from around the area, and we landed on one that we really liked, and we tweaked it according to like what goes on in our library and the level of depth that we thought we needed right now. And we drafted it and put it together, and that is what is in front of you. And since you can't make any decisions tonight, you can't adopt it, but you can certainly ask us all kinds of questions about it.
One question that popped into my head as I read it, it's very good, by the way. I don't know, is that an opinion? I can do that.
Sure.
Okay. The list of, call it materials, that you intend to add to the collection, is that a public record?
Your ordering list?
Oh, you mean actually what we
Yeah.
actually do order?
Yeah.
Is it a public record? I'm sure it could be made a public record, but
Well-
it's not a public record.
I don't know, just my pea brain sorts various things, and there, a lot of people would like to get in and start messing with that stuff. And I'm just wondering if that is indeed a public record, or is that?
How would they mess with it? What do you mean?
Well, you mean if it was a published record that they every week would see? Is that what you mean?
Materials should not be proscribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
So this once the materials are processed, if
It's
they
when
want
they've
them to
seen
become available to
them
the
at the
public,
library. is-
then they can be challenged.
Well, okay, but I mean,
Yeah,
they
we
may
could
have,
take it to the stand.
well, they may have heard of a book, a movie,
Shades of Grey.
Blood
There
and
you go,
the
Donna
Hun,
Sachs.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, sure.
And come to you and say, is that on your list? And do you have to show that to them? No.
No, I just have to answer the question, and there's no reason I wouldn't be honest about it.
Yeah.
And then if they choose, they can challenge that.
Then come here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just what stage, I guess?
Yeah, I just
It's what you know.
I just want to
Yeah,
make sure that,
you know, and they could challenge it at any stage, really. They could say, we just don't ever want to see it there, and, you know, we want to preemptively discuss that. If they
Yeah.
want, we have a form, they would just fill out the form. That's,
I guess the other side of my brain is the faction that never wants to throw away a book ever. Thank you, amen.
they don't get to decide that either.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why
That's under reading or
I
whatever
really like
we
your
call it.
criteria,
What?
the criteria for removing material from the collection.
Oh, good.
All right,
Okay.
I'm done.
Do you,
Can I ask a
yeah,
question?
yeah.
In my daughter-in-law's mother's library,
Uh-huh.
they include materials like the Wilton cake tins,
Right.
Yeah.
things like that. Is that a thing that's not done anymore, or not down here in Oregon, or not appropriate for libraries, or
You know,
or is that
it's
because it's rural?
it's stuff that has kind of come and gone and probably is coming back again. So in a lot of places where you have a pretty active do-it-yourself movement and classes and this kind of thing, you're seeing more of that coming back in. And we're always open to that kind of a concept. You know, those kind of collections create their own special, unique needs.
Which is the question why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if you had a tool
right.
library.
Woodstock
So-
Library does, I think.
Huh?
I think I've heard Woodstock Branch has a tool.
Yeah, but you know, like a makerspace that I've talked about before, that really is just a tool library. It's just the different kinds of tools. But like one of the things you might have in it might be a sewing machine, and for instance, it doesn't have to be like all high techy, you know. So no, that's a really good question, and I think, you know, it was really, really popular a long time ago to have pictures for
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
You know, framed pictures, right?
parents
And
did
then people got rid of that over time. But you know, what goes around comes
Puzzles,
around,
a lot of them do
and
puzzles.
yeah, yeah, and
So you're perhaps thinking of a flexible space?
yeah, you have to have the space, you have to have the budget. You probably always have priorities that may, and those may not make it to the priority list. But I think libraries need to be ever adaptable and flexible, and especially to their community.
Are electronic editions part of the collection?
Yeah.
Just ours, or to the whole Clackamas system, or what? I mean,
Well, when we make purchases that are joint,
we being Oregon City?
no, when the whole district makes purchases
Yeah.
that are joint, then we discuss those purchases, and usually they're database purchases that we get a better price for if we go in on it together. And that, believe me, goes through a huge vetting process, sometimes driving all of us insane before it's done. But, everybody gets a say on how, what gets purchased there. And then the other things we are going to start doing together would be like the ebook platform that's in addition and just for our link users. And what we have decided to do there, it doesn't really, it matches up to collection development, but it just matches up to what we already have in that we're buying the ebooks that are the most popular and the most heavily, have the most holds on them in order so that people who want those books have other options and we can get rid of some of those holds. So it's not different material really in that respect. And so it's
Just a different way of delivering it.
It's just a different format, yeah. So it all should fit into the collection development policy that you have, no matter what. And you probably have that kind of thing too, right?
I like the phrase in number 11 here that as new non-print formats are developed or requested, they will be given consideration for addition to the collection. So there could be something, holograms. Who knows?
Absolutely. You never know, right? I think
right.
we've learned that we never know, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a,
yeah,
are we through? Yeah, I'd like to discuss this a little bit more.
sure.
For the criteria for removing material from the collection, can we have space be?
Is your microphone not on? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Can we have space be a reason, specifically stated?
Lack of space?
Yeah, and maybe it's in here and I'm just not seeing it. Because
Yeah.
at this point, you're probably weeding a lot more than you would if you had more space.
Oh, yeah. But it's kind of been a good thing.
Right. I was wondering that the select guidelines for selection choices, material in specialized areas, technical nature, if community demands it. Have you had people come to the library and say, like, just like what Linda said, I'd like a collection that does such and such?
Well, very little.
Foreign language? you
Not
could say.
really, no. I mean, yeah, but we carry some of that stuff, especially online. So,
It's been requested.
right, but but there are things that you would imagine,
Yeah.
like gardening, crafts, mechanics, that kind of
No,
thing.
or
So,
not- yeah, not
I
a
mean,
whole new
not like
collection.
super,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then on the back, the reconsideration of materials in number 3, it says the library director will refer the request to the library board with a recommendation for disposition. So when I read it means that the director gives us their recommendation and then we okay it or not? Or did you mean the director gives the board, gives request to the library board for a recommendation for disposition?
I think I give a recommendation, and then you get to decide if you agree with it or not.
Oh,
Since I
okay.
haven't really gone through it, but I think this is one of those areas where you guys actually weigh in really heavily because you represent the community on,
Okay, so you would have your recommendation and then either we would,
Yeah. Has it ever been done before? Like, so they're actually the last word on that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, but if they've never, they are.
Disagreed? Yeah,
They've never
but still,
disagreed.
but there might
That
be
doesn't mean that you wouldn't.
yeah.
yeah. Number 4, materials subject to request. I think you maybe mean materials subject to reconsideration?
Oh, could be.
Yeah. Anyway, just a little technical stuff.
Thank you.
That's
You
it.
have a good eye for editing. Okay, anything else on that? And this is not the last word. I mean, we can bring this back up again next month because then we should try to adopt it next month or January or whenever. I just need one. My goal is so that when I write this report next year, I have a relatively recent collection development policy in hand, because 1998 is just too old.
No.
Okay. So we now have this thing called
Communications, and we have Linda Van Haverbeck to give us
That's
a report
right.
on the Friends and the Love Foundation, I assume. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, we just finished our Friends meeting, so I can give you all that. This is on. We have 391 volunteer hours in October, which for a total of 4,601.75 hours in total for the year. We're finishing our bylaw review. We're not quite done with it, but we should be. And we had our annual treasurer's report today for the annual finances. And then we also have Karen reported to us that she's connected up with Better World Books, and it's for recycling, reselling of books. And Mo and she have worked that out. So, farmers market, you may have been interested that this year that they made $2,552.37, an average of $116 per Saturday, and they're finished for the year now because we don't go to the winter markets at all because of the weather.
That's downtown, isn't it? The winter markets, yeah.
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 Good choice
Yeah.
with books.
We keep having this discussion how to decide with rain because my husband and I, and at one point, I guess still Marty lives far out, and Harriet lives far out, and so how do you decide? You don't know what the weather is down there, so we keep having those. And then for the Library Foundation, our next meeting is November. Oh, I should also say, finish up with the Friends. Our annual meeting is December the 6th, and you're all invited to come. And you can, if you don't get forms because you're not members already, there are forms at the bookstore.
And the library, actually, I saw one, guess I kind of forgot that you have to send in your money before you come.
So
What is the
People
date?
need to know that.
The meeting is the annual meeting for the Friends. It's
But what is the date?
December 6th.
Thank you.
I think I got it at the library, didn't I? You don't think that
forms?
forms are there? Yeah.
They were there. We might
Oh.
be out, but they were there.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were, yeah.
Yeah.
For the foundation, the next meeting is Monday, November 26th, and it's here in this conference room back here, which is a small room. But we all received assignments at this last meeting, our October meeting, and we've been communicating by email more weekly so that we can scratch memories and poke memories, and so that we keep moving on, because we feel that while we don't know of any place where the library is going, we're assuming that it's going to be coming up soon, and we want to be ready for that moment. And so that's the foundation. Done.
What's the feeling of the foundation board about the passage of the Multnomah tax?
We haven't met since
We
it
haven't met then, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we meet the fourth Monday of the month.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I think
no,
that's great.
and the other is, I don't know if it has much to do with us, because is the tax not similar to the library district?
It is a lot.
It is a
It is
library
library
district.
district,
Yeah,
and
it's
we
a
have a
library
library
district,
district.
Yeah.
In which
okay.
we passed it, and then.
I was thinking more of the public perception of, things, I don't know. That seems
Compared to, you mean,
Well,
what's
I just-
happened in the
I just think that the
Gladstone
three
and
things that
Lake
happened
Oswego?
up in Multnomah County, people taxing themselves 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and big time, it wasn't like close even,
Yeah.
is like, that's a turnaround in people's minds somehow, up
But-
there.
But they voted for the zoo at the last elections.
True.
In the library, I think they voted for it every single time, but here in Clackamas, then,
We voted for the library. We have a library district.
but I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
but before that,
I'm
yeah.
thinking this election, though, the tenor, that
Well,
Yeah.
Lake Oswego went down and Gladstone.
Don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah, Lake Oswego and Gladstone both.
But if you'd like, I could probably just bring that up for discussion about
It's just
tenor.
a wild question.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else, any other questions about either the Friends or the Foundation? Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
If I might, I forgot to add somewhere while I was talking before, but we're supposed to have interviews for the library board next month. And so at this point in time, we're still planning on that. And then I wanted to just confirm with you guys at least, these were our questions last year, and are you still okay with those, or do we want to change them, or what? Because they're just one page here.
We can't vote though, right? We're just-
Well, yeah, this is just a discussion thing anyway. Yeah.
Has anything changed since last year that, would make us want to ask a different question? It's pretty much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks, because I forgot to keep on because I'm such a
They're the same.
Linda, do you got one of these questions?
Pretty much the one questions are the last 8 years.
Well, number 3 might change.
Maybe we should emphasize number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
I always felt we should have.
Emphasize that? Yeah,
Either that or change the time. But not to accommodate new people, I'm saying, but just, because everybody wants to or something.
right.
So at this point, we'd run into scheduling problems because now, like, the Natural Resources Committee or something is scheduled to show up after us, and sometimes they cancel and sometimes they don't. Or maybe it's some other board, but they, start at 7, so.
I think these questions are good, especially that first one. I mean, really, that's sort of the gist of the thing. Why do you want to be on the board, and what special skills or strengths will you bring? That.
Are we in editing mode here?
Editing?
Yeah.
Sure. What's wrong?
Well, those 2 questions in number 1 might be combined into one. Because it's actually 2 questions. Why do you want to be on the board, period? And what special skills
Sure,
can you
I can
bring to the
break
beer?
those. I can break those up.
Yeah. Number 3 might change depending
Yeah.
upon
Right.
if the world shifts in our favor. But
I thought you were going to say if the world ends on December 21st.
yeah, well, there's that.
Yeah, really.
Are we really worried
The
about
end of the
that?
Incan calendar, right? Yeah.
Nothing will be permanent.
Okay, so you can, if you think of something else, feel free to send them to me, but just a reminder that, and our meeting will be, as far as I know, at this point in time, it will be at the Pioneer Community Center, and it will be
Weird.
It'll be weird, and yeah. So I'll make sure you get a notice, because Doug wants to attend, and he can't make it until 7:30.
Really?
Yeah, that night, and he couldn't even make it here today. So our only choice is the next meeting, unless we want to have a special meeting, and it would be easier not to have a special meeting.
Could we have a dinner meeting and then meet him at 7:30?
We could.
I'm always up for dinner.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
good
we
idea.
can discuss between now and then what we want to do, but
Is that legal? Cool.
so the first candidate is not scheduled to be there until like 8 or something, because I'm really not counting on Doug until 7:45. But we can tweak that. So it's just kind of an odd evening, but it will be at the Pioneer Community Center.
Is that part of the public meeting?
Future agenda items,
I
or
have nothing.
then I call adjournment.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.